Okay, Richard is in show. Good evening and welcome to Bob's Variety Show. Look at all the people. This is Insight into Mental Health. We're coming to your homes to talk about the different mental conditions that people go through. We know there's a lot of hurting people. And also we come into your homes to talk about the human condition that we all have to deal with. Like, we all have to deal with anger, sorrow, depression, everything. You know, we're full of emotions. We're emotional people. We're human beings. Richard, if you could come in a little closer to Emily. You're not there. No, not you. Carl, if you could come into, yeah. So, anyway, we'd like to, first of all, we'd like to welcome the two people in the back, two great people, Joshua and Cynthia. They'll be playing. They played on the show already. They're fabulous musicians, and we welcome. Next to my right and to your left is the lovely, beautiful, inside and out, Emily Welch. Highly intelligent people on the show. Everybody's intelligent. And right next to her is the connoisseur of good food, music, and the computer guru, Dr. Richard Phelps.
That's an honorary title, but I've earned it.
I like your hats. You are a computer genius, man.
I didn't wear my 70s hat. I'll have to wear that next time.
Yeah, I'll wear it next time. And come see Brandon.
Trying to get the technical issues going with him over here.
This is Brandon Lautier. We're glad he's back with us, our director, and also Nellie's son. And here's Nellie Harrington, also beautiful outside and inside, as well as Cynthia, all beautiful outside and inside. And you know, these are very, very bright people. And right next to Nellie is the noted Carl Davis, who even went to Brazil to see these healing people that healed, did spiritual healings and everything. And Carl was over there for 3 weeks. He said it was totally awesome. So you know, this world has just all kind of awesome things in it to learn about, you know. And you know, and we have to deal with our frailties as human beings, and you know, if we can help each other, and that's why we come on this show, to try to help. I'm so glad where God brought me. I'm diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, and I'm so glad that where God brought me from, that I started this show to help me and Jamie Ballou, my friend, who passed away, one of the co-founders, and it's just, I'm the only one left of the original crew that started the show, and we come in to help people out there. So, and before we start the show, I would ask for prayers. Y'all got Richard, you want to pray for your mom?
She's doing better. She's 89, and I have a picture of her that she looks maybe 60 in that
Yeah,
picture.
she looks a pretty lady.
She still plays the piano a little bit. I would ask prayer for her friend. I can only speak in generalities. They have a brain tumor. They're only expected to live 4 months. Just please, you all keep them in prayer.
Yes.
That's all I'm allowed to say at the moment.
Okay.
Then we have a friend whose son is in the hospital tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his early 20s.
That's Carolyn, who's on our show.
Yes.
Her son is in the hospital. We ask for prayers for not only Carolyn's son, but her whole family, her dad, who's elderly, and mom, and everything.
And there's some of us who are in our early 60s that are job hunting. It's extremely challenging at this point because of our age. They're hiring people 1/3 our age out there. The lady that's helping me out at the workforce, she looked for an entire year. I'm not giving up. I'm looking at some options. So
We pray, ask y'all to pray that Richard finds the perfect job for him that will suit him perfectly.
and I've actually contacted somebody in Voc Rehab about the possibility of someone coming on from there to address the issue of rejection in mental health when you're looking for work. Because when you're rejected many times, go through all the interviews, even for a person without mental health issues, it's very stressful.
Yeah.
When you add mental health to that, it can be very hard on one's ego
Yeah.
to continue to be motivated to look for
Okay.
work.
Thank you, Richard.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna start the show, but before we start the show, I would like to reach out to people, like, if y'all have been watching the show and know me, y'all know I have a history of abuse, rejection, betrayal, and completely no respect from in most of my life. And, you know, of course, I'm trying to reach out to a lot of people out there who have been hurt, you know, like Nellie told me, I would talk about myself and say me, poor me. I don't say poor me anymore. You know, I have a relationship with Jesus, and that is the greatest love I've ever had, you know. And if you believe in it, or you can, like, we go to Denver Noble and Roseland Noble's support group, and there's always a 12-step program, a 12 guideline. I'm there as a facilitator over there, and they talk about your higher power. When you have nowhere else to turn, you can turn to your higher power. I turn to Jesus Christ. And I would also like to say, I was watching TV the other day. I mean, I deal with schizophrenia. That isn't an easy thing to deal with sometimes, you know. But anyway, Joyce Meyer talked about if you read, you know, like, if you believe in God and believe in the Bible is the Word of God. And she said, if you read the Bible 30 minutes a day for 30 days, your life will change. And I'm trying it, and I'm reading it, and it works. I feel terrific. I feel good, man. Even after all, and I still get abused and rejected and all that stuff that we all have to deal with, the junk every day. But I feel really, really good, you know. I feel good about myself.
Bob,
So
I'm going to segue off of that. We heard a sermon Sunday by video, and he was talking about the life of David. And if anybody could have felt depressed or rejected, he committed two big no-nos, adultery and murder. And yet he was still forgiven. And I was just kind of awestruck about that. And the title was, It's Okay to Not Be Okay with Yourself, but accept forgiveness and move on. And I still have the notes to it. I'm still kind of reading over it, but I concur with what you're saying, because a lot of the apostles, a lot of the old timers,
some of them were rascals.
they went through some very human, serious conditions that would have buckled most of us
But
under.
what we come to understand is it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to have these things and deal with it every day and you know, strive to be better every day. But really, when it comes down to it, you're the only one that can change your story.
Yeah,
It's up to you to change your story and get help with it. But, you know, in the end, if you change your story, then things start changing.
Yeah, and speaking of our stories, I'm going to read my book. I'll this week, like Nellie talked to me about reading my book, I'm going to read some excerpts from my book.
Good.
And here we go. This is about when I was in the Boy Scouts, this part.
Go for it.
We would go on many camping trips led by our scoutmaster, Ibu. His real name was Raymond. I remember one night on a camping trip in the woods near the park with Bernard, who was the oldest, and Douglas and a few others, and Bernard was talking about, I can't read that. I'm going back to, it was the early 60s. The Cold War was going on, and the Bear Pigs had been a fiasco. And I was in the 8th grade at Catholic High School in Liberia. I was very shy and meek and timid in those days. I made all right grades, I guess a little bit above average, but not like the smart kids like my friend Douglas's little brother Paul DeMai, who always won at the academic rallies. Anyway, one afternoon at school, a message came on the intercom saying that President Kennedy had been shot and killed in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. Hearing that, my teacher, Miss Frankie, broke down crying. We were all shocked, and that day changed the face of America. Camelot was over. The time of innocence was over. America and the rest of the world would enter in a harsher world, and the world has never recovered from it. God help us all. Catholic High was an all-boys Catholic school with Christian brothers teaching the classes. Mount Carmel, its counterpart, was an all-girls school located near the Bayou Teche, which ran through the center of New Iberia. Catholic High was a great educational facility, and even though my dad never taught me anything about life or the world, I started getting my education at school. I always wondered why I had such an inferiority complex and timidity and shyness and fear all the time. I found out why in my later years after I was married and learned of my schizophrenia and was seen a Christian counselor. I learned that my inferior feelings besides my illness were due from my lack of love and total neglect from my father. Also, the only way I could find love from myself, well, I won't go into, was it, masturbation and sex. I shouldn't say that, okay. It was the only way I could feel love for myself. Okay, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry. But, you know, of course, as I said about Family show, okay. About the 60s society, the men made the money and provided a home and the material necessities while the women did the caring for and raising of the children. I can't fault my dad, who was actually one of the heroes of World War II and was a tough and strict man. My dad never had a father growing up, and he actually never learned how to be a father. So in actuality, it was no one's fault how he behaved toward my brothers and me. He just didn't know how to love. It was just one of those unfortunate things that happen in life. I grew up terrified of my dad all my life and didn't like him very much because of the intimidation and fussing that he gave me. But I didn't wish him any hurt or harm, and when he was deathly ill, I helped my mother take care of him until he passed away. That's just a little excerpt from my book. I'm sorry about what I said about, you know, whatever.
Next.
Bob, you know, I had a father that was very similar. He did not know how to show affection.
Yeah.
And it was basically a lot of arguing over homework. I experienced anxiety attacks without knowing what they were. But one thing did happen 2 weeks before he passed away. He asked for my forgiveness.
Yeah,
And
that's great, Richard.
That was a tough one to do, and not all sons are able to do that with their fathers.
No, I was never.
Yeah. But how have you dealt with that?
How did I deal with it?
Yeah.
My dad rejected me and abused and intimidated me and abused me, and he told his brother he would never accept me as his son. And every time I was around him, he got at me, you know.
But what has changed for you to
I've
get
forgiven
through
my
that?
dad, you know,
I'm glad
from
you
all
said
the
that.
pain and everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
you've got to forgive.
Yes.
You know, that's one of the things we stress on the show. You know, we've all, like I was saying earlier, about a history of rejection, and we've all been hurt. We've all been abused. We've all been rejected. We've all been betrayed by people we love. You know, be it family members, bosses, friends, children, especially children, I guess, you know. We've all been there, you know. And we're in actuality, I talked to Nellie and Carl a lot. We were all in the same boat, ladies and gentlemen, you know. So anyway, you know. How am I doing?
Doing great.
Okay. Now this is what y'all might want to read this in the Test News pretty soon, one of these days, because I did an interview with Nellie, and Nellie is a Cajun traiteur, and I'm going to read a little bit of her story. If you have ever heard of Cajun traiteurs, I would like to introduce you to one. Her name is Nellie Harrington, and I met her in 2011 when I had her as a guest on our show, Insight into Mental Health. Insight is a TV show on the AOC Community Media Public Access TV station in Lafayette, Louisiana, that broadcasts to 5 parishes in the Acadiana area, or roughly 500,000 homes. I, Bob BBW, am the producer and host of the show, and one day I and my co-host Richard Phelps had Nellie on to talk about the different remedies and herbs that can greatly benefit a person's wellness. Nellie at one time had bad skin disease, scleroderma, which had her bound to a wheelchair. Through much research, Nellie was able to amass an amount of knowledge about the many natural oils and herbs, along with natural foods, and apply them to her life for healing. Lo and behold, she soon was out of her wheelchair and walking when all the attempts from the medical community had failed her. She talked about the different healing properties of the different teas, like hibiscus and chamomile, and their benefits. For example, she told me to bathe in chamomile tea, soak my body in it, which has done wonders for my skin and nails, and for my blonde hair, leaving it silky and light in color. She reported that hibiscus tea was good for regulating blood pressure. She also mentioned beneficial bacteria in the better types of yogurt, such as acidophilus and bifidus, which keeps the lining of the stomach, the pleural, healthy. She was a big hit on Insight to Mental Health that night, and we got a lot of calls from viewers in the 5 parish area. Nellie was on the show for a few more times over the next 2 years, and finally was added to our show as a regular co-host. With her new innovations as to how the mind, body, and spirit work together in unison that can generate so much positive energy, well, I say to you, dear readers, with this balance, the positive results are baffling, and the sky is the limit. That's the first page. So anyway, that's Nellie's story. That's my story, and I would like to. I'm gonna brag on Jesus and myself. Brandon, we need to get a film. I'm gonna show y'all some pictures this Saturday. Is to show you with somebody with one of the worst of all the mental illnesses out there. I mean, we're going to be talking about schizophrenia tonight. And like they even had catatonic schizophrenia where you just frozen in your emotions. And you just, some people are just sitting in the corner, just staring at a wall with nothing, no signs of life or anything. But anyway, this is to show you that if somebody had belief, and this isn't a religious show. I don't like the term religion, man-made religion. I believe in spirituality, which we all do, and in Jesus Christ, who is my main man, you know. But anyway, I'm going to show y'all what somebody with determination and drive, with help from God, can do. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Can we show the pictures? We can. You
It is
can.
the camera on your left.
Wrong camera?
Or the- Oh, no, the other one, all the way on the right.
This is a good
It's too dark.
Yeah, it's too dark, Bob.
Oh, wait, we got it. We got some of it. We got light.
Yeah, if you lean it back, it'll get a little more light.
Lean it back, Bobby.
Lean it back.
Picture
Back.
You have to lean it back, Bob.
toward, lean the picture toward
Lean the
you.
picture back.
Oh.
Toward you, tilted.
No, it's not working.
Okay, we can't
You're not
show.
gonna be able to see it.
We can show. I was gonna show y'all what I did. I'll tell y'all what I did. Compete. I competed in the USAPL Louisiana Powerlifting Championships. It was in Lafayette at Bourgeois Hall, put on by the UL powerlifting team. And I bench pressed 182 pounds. I squatted with 209 pounds, where actually I did 225, but the judging was so strict, they didn't count it. And I deadlifted 314 pounds for a total of 705 pounds at a weight of 183 pounds, coming out fourth in an open event of all ages competing. And the guy that came out first was 48 years older than me, so that says well about me, you know, I think, doesn't it?
Nice.
That's not bad.
Good job.
That's not bad. And it just goes to show you, you know, exercise is terrific. If you're out there and you want to learn to do something, try walking or something. We're gonna have some athletes on the show, and I wouldn't have never have done this if Mike Fuseli wouldn't have led me to the Lord 24 years ago when I was smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day, washing dishes, and drinking a case of Diet Coke a day, a half out of my mind, just hurting, being the joke of everybody, with no respect and a lot of abuse. But you know, those days are gone, and like we say, we always reach out. I have a passion for people with mental illness, and a lot of them live in isolation and poverty, you know,
Bob,
and I can feel for you.
we ran to some interesting people there. We ran to a school psychologist from Houston. We ran to Dr. John Sullivan, chiropractor, who's been on the show.
Yeah,
There are people from every age bracket and size and shape that you could imagine. And Bob, they all accepted you. So
Huh?
they all accepted you for who you are.
yeah.
There was no label attached, and people were helping each other out there. Now I can't do what you do, but watching everybody do what they did and being motivated, that was very impressive.
Yeah, and you get out in the community, you know.
Yeah.
And I go to Red Laurel's gym. That's where I train. Red is a class act gentleman. He's a former Miss America, and his crew over there are great
Yeah.
people. The ones that work there, it's a family atmosphere, very nice. But let's see, it's okay. It's 8:19. Okay. Before we start on talking about schizophrenia, we got these 2 great people, Cynthia and Joshua, who are going to perform for us. So if y'all, and while they're doing it, let me read about schizophrenia before they get ready. Schizophrenia is a psychiatric disorder marked by severely impaired thinking, emotions, and behaviors. Schizophrenic patients are typically unable to filter sensory stimuli and may have enhanced perceptions of sounds, colors, and other features of their environments. Most schizophrenics, if untreated, gradually withdraw from interactions with other people and lose their ability to take care of personal needs and grooming. Okay. So anyway, let me read some more. They're not ready. The prevalence of schizophrenia is thought to be about 1% of the population of around the world. I don't believe that. I think it's more. It is just more common than diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, or multiple sclerosis. In the United States and Canada, patients with schizophrenia fill about 25% of all hospital beds. The disorder is considered to be one of the top 10 causes of long-term disability worldwide. It's one of the worst, and I deal with it, but I deal with it well. So anyway, we're going to have these 2 talented musicians. Cynthia's playing the mandolin, and Joshua's playing the banjo. So here we go.
We're going to start with an old one. This is In the Pines.
Little girl, what have I done that makes you treat me so? You have caused me to weep, you have caused me to moan, you caused me to leave my home. In the pines, where the sun will never shine, longest train I ever saw went down that old Georgia line. The engine passed at 6 o'clock. The cab went by at 9. In the pines, where the sun never shines, we shiver when the cold wind blows. Well, I asked my captain for the time of day. Said it throws his old watch away, and it's a long steel rail and a short cross tie. I'm on my way back home. In the pines, where the sun will never shine, we shiver when the cold wind blows.
That's awesome. Awesome.
That's one of Denver's favorites.
That's awesome. You wrote that?
No, that's older than anybody alive.
Okay,
That's good.
what do you think, Nellie? They should play another one, or we go on and get them to play again?
How about if we go on and get them to come in and fill in a little later?
All
Yeah.
right. That
Yeah,
sounds like fun.
give us something to look forward to more musically
Okay.
There's
later.
only one more song I know really well, so.
It's beautiful.
That was, y'all did great.
Beautiful. Did a great job.
Let me read something about schizophrenia. The English term schizophrenia comes from two Greek words that mean split mind. It was observed around 1908 by a Swiss doctor named Eugene de Bleuer to describe the splitting apart of mental functions that he regarded as the central characteristics of schizophrenia. Like, you know, like when you talk, like I went to church the other day, and my pastor was praying for the demonic stuff of the spirit of schizophrenia, and he was saying dual souls, you know, and that's a common knowledge that most people think that if you have schizophrenia, you have two personalities. But that's a myth, right, Emily?
Yeah, I'd say.
It's a myth. What schizophrenia is you can't differentiate between reality, what's real and what's not. Correct? Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that's more like it.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not. There is something called dual personality. That's multiple personality disorder. Like in the book, in the movie, The Three Faces of Eve with Joanne Woodward, or Sybil with Sally Fields. People who had multiple personality disorder. Schizophrenia is different, and this is what somewhat of it does. The delusions of paranoid schizophrenics usually involve. We got a call? Okay. Yes, caller? Yes, caller? Hello?
Hey,
Hi, Denver.
Hi, Denver.
how you doing?
Good.
Hey, we were just calling in, the thing about putting the hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Very
we can
well.
hear you.
I was just calling, Miss Roseland was telling me that the new position for the musicians is great. It gives a whole picture of everybody
Yeah,
in there instead of them having to have work as 2 cameras or whatever for Brandon and stuff, you know?
Yeah, thank you. It was Emily's idea. I mean, Nellie's idea.
Yeah, I said to Rosalind, that's my favorite song that they sang because I'm from Pine, Louisiana. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did a great job. So I just wanted to let you know that we're paying attention, all right?
Well, glad you're watching,
Thank you,
then.
Denver.
Good to see you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That's Denver Noble. Denver is the facilitator, along with Emily, for the support group for people with mental conditions, and his wife Rosalind runs the support group all at the Lutheran Church behind Academy for family members and friends of people with mental conditions. They have been a boom, and they have been doing this. Denver's been doing this since '95, which is, you know, we've got terrific people in this town. Okay, thank you, Deb. Let's go back to schizophrenia. The delusions of paranoid schizophrenics usually involve thoughts of being persecuted. You've heard me talk about that already. Or harmed by others, or exaggerated opinions of their own importance. I've never had that. But may also reflect feelings of jealousy or excessive religiosity. I don't have that either. The delusions are typically organized into a coherent framework. Paranoid schizophrenics function at a higher level than other subtypes, but are at risk for suicidal or violent behavior under the influence of the delusions. So, we got time. No, yeah, I would like to say, like, I'm going to give a few examples. When I was, like I said earlier, when I was washing dishes at Possum's Restaurant 45 years ago, and my schizophrenia, I was taking my Navain, always. That's why I never went over the deep edge, you know. I'd do strange things, or look strangely at people, or say strange things, but I'm totally nonviolent, you know. But people would look at me strange, and then I'd get rejected, and I'd feel rejected, when all I wanted back then was to be accepted, and nobody accepted me. My friend Possum accepted me, Todd accepted me, Patsy Bertrand was a lovely lady, you know, a few people that let me come around. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, back then, I was so afraid. You know, with paranoid schizophrenia, and you know that, Emily, the fear, you might feel so much fear, or if somebody said, I want to talk to you, the fear that would dwell up in you would be as fearful as a 250-pound man coming at you with a knife in an alley. That's how fearful it would be, you know. And I lived like that until, for years and years, after the service, after I had my breakdown in the service, until Mike Fuselier, bless his heart, a Christian brother, led me to the Lord, and things had changed. That's why I'm so adamant about spirituality and God and Jesus and everything. So I'm just giving you all a little bit thing about schizophrenia, and I would like to say that there's treatment for schizophrenia, and there's medication that helps with schizophrenia, definitely. And of course, you got to take your I take my medication religiously, because if I didn't, I would probably go off the deep end, you know.
Yeah.
Like when my friend Jamie passed away years ago. When the police came over, he passed away in my house. When the police came over to check it out and make sure there wasn't any foul play, but they checked out my medication, to make sure it wasn't drugged, and they took it all. So I didn't have my medication. And when we went to I slept that night. I'm pretty tough, so I was able to handle everything and fall asleep. That was my best friend of all time that passed away in my house. But anyway, I went to the funeral. When they had the funeral, I hadn't been on my medication for 2 days. My friend Keith, I was so out of it. My friend Keith had to tell me I was a pallbearer, where to turn, which way to look, what to grab, and everything. Which just goes to show you, no matter how good you feel, if you get off your medication, you're not going to feel that good anymore, you know. And when I got back on my medication, I was all right. But that's just to show you, that's one of the aids for all mental illnesses, you know. And schizophrenia, it can be trying, you know. But like I say, I've got my health, I've got my God, and you know, well, I'm just covering it briefly, you know. But we may go in depth, cover it again next week. But now, I hope
Bob,
this has been what?
I want to say kudos to Jamie's mother, Jackie, for still supporting this. Our show, I was there at that funeral, and it had to be very difficult for her, but that she has cared enough for this show to support us since that happened, and that's why we honor Jamie's memory and we honor his mother.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she has had an effect on all of our lives, and so has Jamie.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Miss Jackie.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. What can I say? Miss Jackie is like my guardian angel. She's always there to help me and help us on the show, you know. She buys our memberships,
Miss
you
Jackie
know.
helps us, yes, keep the show going.
She helps us keep
Yes.
the show going. She is an extraordinary woman, you know, Miss Jackie. And Miss Jackie, we're praying for you, and we know you're watching the show, and of course, you got all my respect and love, you know. You're one of the true great women of Lafayette, and I'm glad to know you. Okay, now we're going to get Nellie to start talking. Okay, you want to talk, Nellie?
I do.
Okay.
I do. You know, with all the struggles that everyone has, I try to, with myself and everyone, focus on brilliance and keep the focus on brilliance. And when you do that, when you stay on that side of the fence, it's amazing to see that even with the struggles, that people who are struggling every moment, and we know how hard that is, viewers, and we're here for you each week to try to help find a little bit of ease and solutions for ourselves and for you. And we thank y'all for tuning in and supporting us so much. And by focusing on the brilliance, it's like with Bob, you know, when he'll call me and I'll just focus on, Bob has so much brilliance in him. You know, he's written a book, he's on his second book, and he's got a third one in the work. And so by focusing on the brilliance, you know, it puts the focus on, because so everyone has their own brilliance, their own talent. And I've been working, as a lot of you know, through the heart intelligence, and that has really helped a lot with post-traumatic stress symptoms. And my little segment tonight is called Science of the Heart. So if you're ready, we could have a little heart-to-heart talk. Would y'all like to have a
Yes, let's
heart-to-heart
have
talk?
a heart talk.
You know, we talk mind to mind all the time, but when you talk heart to heart and you really connect and you look people in the eye, it makes such a big difference, because you feel a connection. You feel you're not alone in your struggles. And so
there's neurons, the science have found there's neurons in the brain, which makes the brain work. There's also neurons in the heart. And what we've learned, I've learned from Nellie and Carl, that when signals come to the body, it goes first to the heart before it goes to the brain, right?
Right, it goes to the heart, and then the heart sends a wave up to the brain, and the connection between the heart and the brain becomes synchronized. And what it does, it actually puts you into a new shift of consciousness that helps you not only communicate better with your inner self, your inner being, and calmness, but others as well feel that connection a lot more. And these are some thoughts of my own, but these are also some information that I got from the Heart Math. It's heartmath.org site, which is an amazing site that teaches you about the heart math connection. And I thought, great minds think alike. That's true. But great hearts feel alike. And so when we
And you have a
connect,
great heart.
thank
Excuse
you. Everyone here has a great heart. And
That's
we know
right,
our
everybody
viewers do too.
is class act.
So the first sort of thought is about look deeply as you can into your heart and visualize the future you deserve. You've always deserved. Visualize. Take a deep breath, and when you take that deep breath, you focus on your heart when you take in the breath. And this is like a breath of life coming into your heart. And the connection of your heart with the relationship of your brain will actually shift with the heart-focused breath. And when you start living a heart-based life,
A heart-based, that's when you're talking to somebody, you're focusing on your heart.
your heart
By
connection.
just thinking of your heart connection.
Exactly. And it helps a lot of people, I know that y'all that really know me know I have autism and I have a social problem with a lot of people. And so this has helped me put my focus on their brilliance, my brilliance, but also a focus on the heart takes for some reason, the circuits that get sort of on oversensory, it helps take the strain off of that. And so practicing, and it gets easier and easier, that when you experience the shift, that you can feel the physical benefits of it. You get calmer, your heartbeat changes. One of the questions that is a good question, Bob, and I talked about this earlier, is about practicing actually thought practice. Like how often and how frequently do your thoughts serve you?
We were talking about that. Like it's like they talk in the church too about this thinking,
And by doing that, by choosing to create your own vibrational atmosphere, that's another heart-based practice that you can do, because it's sort of like we're radio stations, right? And we're broadcasting things constantly with our thoughts. Think about it, that if the fetus, when you're forming, they say that in science, the first thing that forms above the brain, before even the brain, is the heart forms first.
And another thing I learned, it's a tough world out there. It's even tougher than it's ever been, It's dangerous and all that. We're living in America. It's the best country in the world to live in, but it's got its problems. And there's a lot of things to be down about, But if you focus on the down, or like the Bible says, blessings and curses come out of the tongue, from both ways. And if you try, like I was thinking, I was going to complain. I was with Emily today, and I was going to complain about somebody. And I said to myself, I don't know if it's the Holy Spirit, but it told me to hold my tongue. And if you want to complain about something, like the reason people talk like they do is because out of their heart will come out what they're thinking, And if you hold your tongue and be calm and take a breath and everything, because when you throw out negative energy, it affects you negatively.
Let's see if we can experience the shift really quickly. Okay, close your eyes and listen to your heartbeat.
Okay.
Now open your eyes and you take your breath. When you take your breath in, take it through, focus on your heart. Now close your eyes and listen to your heartbeat again. Did anybody feel anything different?
I feel peace.
There, you
Calmer.
see?
I feel peace.
Now, do it again. This time, look if you can see, okay, not at your heartbeat. This is very interesting, but in between your heartbeats. Can you see anything in between your heartbeats? A lot of people reported when they did this practice that before they took the heart-focused breath in, that their heart felt a different way as compared to after the heart breath was taken. but no one ever really thinks about looking in between. So your heart beats, and then on a graph, when you see your heartbeat scale, you'll see heartbeat, and then in between the two heartbeats, there will be a mark on the actual graph on the paper itself. And they said that in between the heartbeats, that they could see the difference in between the heartbeats before and after you took the heart-focused breath. When you looked on this, they could actually see a difference. So when you would tap into it and people would say, okay, well, if I'm trying to read what's there in between my heartbeat, what does that feel like? When they closed their eyes again, when they did the before and the after heart breath, a lot of it before, in between the heartbeats, was anger, frustration, hate, fear. And after the heart-focused breath, they said, I felt in between the heartbeats, when I tried to read, what would that be? Love, peace, calm. And so it's amazing to see how once we talked about the post-traumatic stress and how, I had been dealing with it with poetry and music and meditation and dance and all of these things. And then when I started the heart intelligent work and I started doing these practices, that it just really just sort of started dissolving a lot of the fear and a lot of the feelings that I would get, and the oversensory. It helped all of those things. So I really like this. And there's another thing that you can do with this, and it's called a focus wheel. And when you take in your heart breath, you just draw a large circle in your paper and you write energy that creates worlds. And when you're pulling from the energy that creates worlds, this is your life force. This is the God force, or whatever you call it, or whatever you believe. And you draw little circles on the outside. And the focus wheel is, so if you're feeling frustration, you write frustration or anxiety, or you feel stuck. This is where I've been feeling so stuck, and so I wrote, I feel stuck. And then in the middle, you use that energy that creates worlds, and you pull it outwards into all these other little negative circles. And that focus wheel helps sort of like diffuse it. It helps sort of like a little meditation. You've been meditating a lot, Bob?
Yeah, I've been meditating. I've been reading the Bible half an hour a day, and I've been trying to meditate. Just just lying down quietly, mostly lying down on my back with no light, or just in a dark place, and focusing on my breath and trying to stop my mind, And of course we've read where people that meditate are usually happier than the average person.
Well, I'm just going to finish up really quickly, and then we're going to go. But the other thing I've done is I've deleted the word try out of my vocabulary, because they say trying is covering up energy that is misaligned, and that it's an indicator you're going against the flow. So the beauty of emotion is when you hold a thought that is contradictory, you lower the vibration of your being. And the beauty of emotion is that it is the teacher to show you that you're not on the right path. And so you can correct it, by visually trying to control, see, I use the word trying, by choosing to control your vibrational atmosphere.
Okay.
And I think by practicing that more and more, you can do that.
One thing that's important to do while doing this, turn off the cell phone, the computer, because we're so plugged in. And there's a commercial running for the U.S. Forest Department of Agriculture. They say, get unplugged, go out to the forest, get reconnected. I've been thinking about all that because we're so dominated by electronics. And I'm not against electronics, as I use electronics, but to get unplugged for an hour or two a day,
Right.
so you can even get to that point, because you're sitting there wondering, is someone going to text me, or do I need to answer that cell phone or that email? Unplug for an hour or so, not at work, of course, but create that space.
Yeah, you've got to, when you're with electronic, you got to get a break from it.
Yeah.
When you get in touch with your inner self and you really get quiet and you get in there and use those heart breaths, you really can see kind of what's going on, and then you can kind of adjust it a
And
little.
relax to the world. Okay, Carl, you want to talk about mushrooms?
Okay, I can talk about mushrooms, yeah.
Talk a little bit about mushrooms.
All right.
We talk about various subjects that can enhance us, as human beings, and keep our mental functions healthy and balanced. And Carl is an expert on mushrooms, and mushrooms have a really powerful healing part of them.
Yes,
You could talk about some of the healing parts of mushrooms?
That's what we're gonna do, yeah.
Okay.
The last time here, I talked about the maitake mushroom, and today I'll be talking about the chaga mushroom, or Inonotus obliquus, which is its formal Latin name, and we will touch on some of the medicinal properties of this powerful mushroom. I would like to mention one more time that mushrooms are a lot more like people than plants, in that they breathe oxygen and give off carbon dioxide just like living animals and people do. They also emanate from mycelium, which can cover many hundreds or even thousands of acres, all producing the same type of mushroom. As I said previously, a giant honey mushroom was discovered in Oregon, which covered over 2,200 acres as a single living organism.
God made that.
Yeah, God made that. Inos means fiber, noton means back, and oblique indicates that the pores are at an angle to the ground. In Norway, it is called cancer polypore, and in Finland, tikka-tea. The English call it woodpecker tea. Nobel Prize winner Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote an essay about chaga in 1967 called White Birch Cancer, since it grows primarily on white birch trees. The Gitsan of British Columbia call it diu and use the lit fungus to relieve rheumatic pain. The Russians have used chaga for various cancers, including Hodgkin's disease, since the 16th century. In western Siberia, it is used to treat tuberculosis, liver disease, worms, and stomach problems. Inositol was found to be the most active ingredient, able to destroy 100% of Walker 256 cancer cells and MCF human mammary cancer cells. Some Polish studies indicate chaga has an inhibiting effect on tumor growth. Let me get that down here a little bit.
So you say people should be taking some of these mushrooms?
No,
Yeah,
wait a minute, you gotta check with your doctor before you
Of course,
take any mushrooms.
of course you take it down.
Yes,
Yeah.
And when
Some of them are very poisonous, and some of them
Yeah.
can interfere with your
But
medication.
these are all medicinal mushrooms
Yeah.
here, and these are
Check with your
pretty
doctor.
much available as
But-
herbs, yeah.
But check with
So,
your
I mean,
doctor
it's-
first.
Check with your
yes,
doctor
okay,
first.
absolutely.
You know,
wait.
I grew
And
up,
don't get off your medication to
Yeah.
try different things.
No.
Keep taking your medication, and you know.
Yeah.
you know,
What do
since-
I order every time we go to New Iberia?
Huh?
The mushrooms. The
That's
the
right.
fried
You want
mushrooms.
You like mushrooms?
You know what's
like
so
mushrooms?
Yeah,
Which-
good fried
They
mushroom,
make
little
you feel
hobbitness,
good.
you know?
Oh,
I will ask what kind they are next time.
Yeah.
What's
what type of
interesting is I
mushroom
grew
they
up-
are, maybe
Yeah.
portobello.
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so there is a very good chance I could have been on one of those fibrous mushroom mats without realizing it. There's a rainforest up there. Everything's green.
Okay, we got 3 minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
y'all wanna sing?
Yeah.
Y'all got time?
Oh, if you got nothing else, you can
Yeah.
keep talking.
We can get talk, y'all wanna sing?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, that's all right, Carl?
Oh, yeah, sure, it's always all right.
One moment.
We kinda covered it. But anyway, mushroom, Carl, is pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Carl makes a concoction of the different kind of mushrooms, and he puts it in a bottle, and I take it, you know, and it's good for the mind.
Yeah, it's good for.
What else
almost
is it
everything.
good for?
It's good, it's got 300 chemicals in it, and every one of them addresses a different possibility of a problem.
So this song's about mushrooms, right?
I drink it in my coffee every day.
Grapes and mushrooms, though.
2 minutes, guys, so if you're gonna do a song.
Do a song.
Take us on.
All right, here we go.
Take
One of
us
my
home.
favorite John Prine songs.
All
Ooh, I
right.
love that.
It's a fun one.
Oh,
She
wow.
was a level-headed dancer on the road to alcohol. And I was just a soldier on the way to Montreal. Well, she pressed her chest against me every time the jukebox broke. Well, she gave me a peck on the back of the neck, and these are the words she spoke. Blow up your TV, throw away your paper, move to the country, build you a home, plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try and find Jesus on your own. Well, I was young and hungry,
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 minutes?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. We thank y'all for watching this show. We hope it has been good. We can't see, they can't see us. Thank you. You should have brought it back to us, Brandon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, there we are. Thank you for watching this show. We're out.